Yeah, sorry. Yeah, on stage chat.
Okay, cool.
I'm not too familiar with Twitch. Do we need to do anything?
No, no, it's just in case anybody wants to see. So a lot of times I'll like share visual resources so people can just
Oh,
like
gotcha.
look and you know sometimes you'll ask a question that I'll have something from our light paper and I'll just pull it up or you know.
Awesome. Sounds good. So we should wait for the link, or are we good to start?
Yeah, we can start.
Okay,
Sometimes Juanito takes some
awesome.
time with the links, but he eventually gets it done.
No worries. So
He
yeah,
eventually
man.
gets it done.
Thanks for taking the time to join us today.
No worries.
I know the big day is finally coming in 2 days. Um, I mean, yeah, I don't know how you guys want to run this AMA since you've been here before. Not sure if you want to give us another introduction on yourself and Collider, or if you would just want to go straight ahead and jump into any important updates on the project. I'll leave that up to you guys.
Yeah, actually, I'll kind of get you guys up to speed with what's been going on for those of you who are not on our server since the last time we talked. Does that sound good? And I'll just kind of try to gear the conversation towards people who kind of have a vague idea of who we are already. Um, but I won't get too granular. All right, are we good to share screens, Johnny? Yeah, good. Okay, so since last time, I don't think we had the factions announced yet, and we hadn't shown anything at that time. We were just getting started. Actually, the factions for this drop kind of came together with the community, so it was kind of like this fun thing, riffing off each other and seeing people make like cool stuff. So I can show you guys kind of what the factions look like. So we have 5 factions. Over here to the left, you can see the Hypers and the Rad Kids, Outlaws, the Prototypes, and the Chosen. So as you guys can see here, I'm gonna show you guys. There you go. Get this. I had to kind of cut my. Oh, hold on. Let's see. Give me the full screen. Ugh, I don't know what the hell's going on. Anyways, as you guys can see here, each 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 faction's gonna have 3 classes. So you can see over on the left you have the Pioneers. So for people who like exploring the metaverse in their undies, which is definitely I'm one of those. And then as you can see, they go evolving and kind of their classes become chunkier and they have more assets. So the Pioneers are gonna have they're gonna be 50% of the supply. Afterwards, you have the heroes, which are going to be 35% of the supply, and then you have the icons on the far right, which are going to be 15% of the supply. So they're more valuable not only because of their rarity, but also because they have more 3D assets, which makes the production costs much higher too. So they have like real world value in their cost production and the production costs, and then they're also more rare as well. So here you have the Hypers, which is basically, yeah, just very much inspired by degen culture and wild kids. Then we have Rad Kids, which is very much inspired by extreme sports, motorsports, and this is a very strong faction in our server. I think a lot of the Dutch community went crazy with this faction. Factions are really fun. We did like these faction wars, so basically you could get whitelist depending on how your faction is doing. So we have all sorts of games and tournaments and stuff. It's been really fun. Then we have the Outlaws, basically very much inspired by bandit culture, Wild West, Ronin type characters. And then you have the Prototypes, which are kind of inspired by a lot of these movies where there's like these shadow operations from the government doing weird experiments on kids to turn them into killing machines, and then one day they snap and they're like, fuck it. That's basically the Prototypes. And then you have, last but not least, the Chosen, which are kind of inspired by these kind of secret societies and secret organizations behind the scenes doing their thing. And what all these factions have in common is that they're all rebelling or dissenting in some form or other to the powers that be in their universe. And we haven't really delved too deeply into the storyline, but that's basically it. So this is something new. It's something that we hadn't shown when we were on last. And as you can see here, this is how the rarity structure is set up with the Pioneers. And then each class is going to have rare, super rare, and ultra rare. So the rares are these ones, ultra rare and super rare, and they also have they're also broken up. So, for example, in the Pioneers, you'll have 50% of the supply will be the rare, 35% of the supply will be ultra rare, super rare, and then 15% ultra rare. So you're going to have very well structured rarities. And you can see here in the light paper, we actually have it broken up, and you can actually see the amount of assets that would be in each one. So I don't want to get too technical or boring, but that's some of the big stuff that we hadn't discussed last time we were on. So I don't know if there's any questions out there, or yeah, we could just, I think we just bounce back and forth, just riff off each other with the community. We're all friends here, so or you guys can ask me some hard questions too. I know there was some spicy questions floating around out there, and we're willing and excited to jump into any saucy or juicy or spicy question too. So feel free.
Cool. So it looks like we have a couple questions right now on our Discord stage chat. The first one's from Samantha. Do the separate factions or classes have benefits other than rarity?
No, they don't. Actually, they don't have benefits. So in the gameplay, we don't want to give them benefits, because then that would easily turn into a pay to earn. Oh, Jesus Christ! Sorry. Pay to win kind of model that we don't want to fall into. And also for holders, right? People holding one of these avatars, we also want to make it, it's already, the chances of people actually getting access to a legendary is going to be very low, but we do want to reward everybody. So basically that's the way we're balancing it out. All the rewards for holding avatars, or having a collection of avatars is going to be equal for every avatar. And then the benefits are specifically for the rarity and the value in how rare an avatar is.
Awesome. So it looks like we also have questions from the audience that kind of want to raise their hands and come up on stage and ask themselves. So I think we'll prioritize those before the text questions.
Nice.
So Jack, I'm going to pull you up on stage.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up?
Hey,
good.
Doing great. I have a couple of questions. One is like just personal, because I see you guys have many Spanish, Latin American names. Where you guys based?
We're in Argentina, Buenos Aires, Argentina. So the majority of us are all Argentine. There's a couple from Colombia. Where else do we have? We have actually several team members from Colombia. Uruguay too. We have some. Where else, Johnny? Do we have? We're mainly all Argentine. Peru, yeah.
You guys have something to do with the big time team?
No, we don't. We don't have anything to do with them. But it's actually kind of funny. There's a lot of Argentines in this space. The guys, there's the Decentraland guys, Sandbox. There's a lot of Argentine Sandbox developers, and then you have Big Time. So you have actually a lot of Argentines in this space.
Yeah,
kind of interesting.
That's
I think our economy has a lot to do with it. I think it helps
great.
It helps you understand. It helps you understand crypto pretty quickly. Like you get it pretty quick. Yeah.
Absolutely. So basically, the company is based in Argentina, and everything what is going to be in the future, it's gonna be in the Argentina company.
Not necessarily. Like we're not. We don't kind of think in those terms. But yeah, what we love about Argentina. Well, number one, I'm Argentine, and I always wanted to build something here. I wanted to raise my kids in Argentina, so that was one of the big reasons why I stayed in Argentina and built a studio here. But I think Argentina is just it's immense human potential when it comes to the arts and technology. I think there's a lot of really interesting influences that happen, especially here in Buenos Aires, that I love, that I think are very hard to find in other parts of the world. I mean, there's amazing, talented people all over the world. Please don't get me wrong. But there's something really cool that I like about here in this kind of interesting mix from kind of living in a country with immense like financial challenges, but then having access to technology and cultural resources, and that kind of like it creates like this really interesting kind of blend when you're in kind of a creative endeavor that I really enjoy. So that's one of the cool things here. But there's so much opportunity all over the world. I mean, in Eastern Europe, when you're talking about like programmers and engineers, there's a lot of really cool opportunities out there. So if things go really well for us, I guess, and I know some of our team members would love this idea of working from around the world. So we play around a lot with this idea of having like different cool little spots around the world where you can work from. So we'll see.
Absolutely, yeah. I saw the video of all the team, and what you guys doing is amazing. I also find that all the art and everything you guys are doing is pretty clean, very well done, high quality. So that's quite a surprising me, because I'm coming as well from Latin America, and I see the challenge we have there. So yeah, I want to congrats about that point. And the other question I want to make is, how do you see Collider in, let's say, after launch, the next 3 months? And then how do you see Collider in the next year and in the next 3 years?
Yeah, okay. We can jump in real quick and like short term, long term. Here, Johnny, if you want to share my screen, we can do kind of what our milestones are for Q2 and Q3. So this is what we have right now coming up. So we have the mint on the 20th. After that, we want to give people access to the visual wallet, which I don't know if everyone saw it or not, but basically that's our character creation tool that we're using, that we're going to get on chain, which is basically going to be a marketplace and a visualizer for your digital goods and a launchpad for games and experiences. People are going to have access to this. If you hold a CYPHER, you will have access to this, and you'll also have access to the mosh pit before reveal date. We believe that this is going to create a lot of confidence in the project and basically have firsthand access to the tools and technology we're developing. So that's the first thing, and then obviously the reveal on the 30th of June. Then for Q3, we have delivering the assets, so the actual avatar that functions inside of Unreal Engine. You'll be able to just bring it into Unreal Engine, start creating your own games, or other people can create content with that. And then we have drop 2 lined up. And then we want to already in Q3 have an alpha of the mosh pit and the visual wallet ready for people to use. And we're also going to be announcing our new collection, which is a horror themed collection, which I think people are going to lose their minds when they see it. We're going to be announcing that in October. We're going to be doing like the big reveal in October, but internally we're going to be showing it to our holders, like a little sneak peek, also before the reveal. So we're going to be showing the horror collection, just like a little sneak peek of it, before the reveal. And I think that's also going to really build a lot of confidence in what we're building when people kind of see the long-term vision. So this is kind of like midterm. And then where I see us a couple years from now is, I hear a lot of people saying like, oh, we're going to build this metaverse game or whatever. The way we see ourselves is kind of building essential infrastructure. And we basically, a couple years from now, hopefully what we've built is a really strong network of users and creators where, creators are creating experiences, games, musical events, like you name it, right? And these are not individual contributors. These can be companies as well that contact us regularly because they're building experiences for their users. And this would be a great tool for them to be able to just port users into their experiences with a powerful avatar creation tool, and us having a very robust functioning marketplace, and a lot of really cool experiences, games made by us and not by us. Like what I would be the most proud of is if by then you have dozens, if not hundreds, of developers creating games and experiences specifically built to connect with our visual wallet. Even things like an environment, just creating a beautiful environment. It's like walking through art, right? If you guys look up 90 days of Unreal Engine 5, you'll see 3 artists. It's a little more than they added more artists, but it's 3 artists in 90 days created the most beautiful environments in Unreal Engine. And that would be pretty simple to connect to our visual wallet. like right away, and then people could just be able to walk around and explore. It's like walking through art, right? So the opportunities here are just immense. And that's, I think, what would make us the proudest is for people to start creating content specifically for our network and kind of the ecosystem. That's it.
That's great. Thanks a lot for sharing. That's all from my side. And yeah, I will keep checking. I will keep following the project. It's looking very, very nice. Congrats.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, San. And Funection, I'm going to pull you up now.
Hi, guys. Thank you very much for being here.
No.
I have a few questions. So the first thing that struck to my mind and I find really interesting and I like a lot is this minting info. So you say that we will not be allowed to mint from a ledger or hard wallet. Why was this decision made?
This is for security reasons. So we're teaming up with the guys from Byte. They were the team that did the smart contracts for Neo Tokyo. They have their own marketplace and they have extensive experience also with tokens. And they recommended for security reasons and to avoid any sort of bots or people like. Some of this goes over my head, but basically they were like the best way to keep this secure is number one, limiting the amount of mints per wallet, and then only being able to mint from a hot wallet.
Nice, really cool. Then I also see, so you're benefiting holders that hold your NFT for a long time. Yeah, I see you have different types of holders. Let's say I buy an NFT, but I still have it. I just have it for one day. But I have all the intention of keeping of staying until I'm legendary, let's say. Is there any way or are you going to make it possible for people to lock up their NFT for, let's say, 9 months? So we're not able to access it or trade it, so we can become that type of holder, or not at all? Or you just want time?
Yeah, so we're not going to ask anybody to lock it up.
Yeah.
But what we will do is we'll be taking a regular snapshots of the wallet. We're still figuring out like the finer detail on how this is going to happen. But basically, you're going to either be holding for a certain amount of time. So basically, anytime we take the snap, if you have the avatar, it doesn't matter which one it is, as long as you have one, it counts. And also the amount of avatars you have. So basically the two mechanisms we have here is for people who have been with us from the beginning, like you mentioned, and they're just holding on to their avatar. That's going to count. So every month you're going to get new rewards for having held an extra month. And then for people who are coming into the collection, you can get the same rewards if you have that same amount of avatars as far as months are concerned. So for example, if you're holding an avatar for a month or you have one cipher, you get the same rewards. Afterwards, if you held it for 2 months, you're going to get a certain amount of rewards, or you can be holding 2 ciphers, right? And then in the third month, you can either be holding 3 ciphers or have been holding for 3 months, right? So this way we kind of incentivize 2 groups. One group is people who support us and reward people who support us, and then also people who come in and really kind of want to invest into the project by purchasing several avatars, right? So those are like the main target audiences. And then there's one more thing that we just revealed the other day is if you're holding something original cipher from the first 48 hours, you're going to have an immediate guaranteed whitelist for the second drop. So that's for people who basically hold from the very beginning. And so you have like 48 hours to get into the collection, or just hold it in the first 48 hours. That will guarantee you a spot for the second drop, which is the female ciphers. And I know there's a lot of excitement in our community for that. So that's how we've structured it. I don't know if it makes sense, or because I can go over it a little slower.
No, for sure. So if I understand it correctly, let's say if I want to jump to legendary, I would need to buy nine of your avatars to get that. Is that correct?
Well, right now we've only revealed up to hero. So hero is 6 avatars. And what's really cool about this is that this is all stackable. So for example, by having 6 avatars, I have a guaranteed spot for the horror collection, which is going to be really cool. So what I can do right now is just buy 6 avatars now and receive all of the benefits of having 6 avatars now. So for example, in this second month in August, if you have 2 ciphers, you're going to be able to have these faction weapons. So if you have 6, you'll be able to get 3 airdrops those weapons because you have 6, understand? So each avatar has its own reward. So they're stackable. So you can make an upfront investment. For example, right now, if you have 6 at the very beginning, you're going to get 6 airdrops of helmets and headgear. But then at the same time, afterwards, that guarantees you 6 months from now access to the new horror collection, and also the big diamond-handed hero box, which is going to have all sorts of beautiful goodies. So that's kind of cool, right? You can stack rewards, and then also you can pay up front and start getting them right away and guarantee your rewards 3 months down the line or 6 months down the line. Does that make sense?
Thank you. It does. Thank you very much. Then
Right.
an additional question would be: Are there any more? Would there be more would there be more, let's say, rewards if you hold the male and the female together, or is it just considered as a separate NFT?
Yeah, we haven't gone into that because it's a little further down the line. So
Yeah.
basically, with everything that we're doing, as you can see here, when we get into like over 6 months and 9 months, we didn't want to get into this yet because we just want to stay focused on this drop and the utility and
Yeah.
the value of what we're delivering now. But we do have very long-term plans, and especially like investment opportunities for people who really seriously want to get into this project and see us really more as a technology and art company more than just like an NFT project, and understand what we're really doing. We want to open up the door for bigger opportunities, but we kind of want a little bit of time to pass to start getting into that, because it's just a lot. We don't want to drive people crazy, and it's like and also like promises on top of promises on top of promises, like that's not really our thing. So we're just kind of staying focused in the first 6 months and for this first drop.
Perfect. Thank you very
But
much.
yeah, I mean, like at the
One-
end of the day, it's completely aligned, right? If you guys feel you're receiving, if any holder of ours feels that they're receiving outsized benefits, or a bigger bang for their buck, they're going to want to be part of the project. So it's in our best interest to deliver as much value as possible, and that's always going to be our objective, right? Because that's going to guarantee our success. So we're aligned.
Yeah.
Alignment.
Yeah. And this might sound as a generic question, but let's say, why do you think that creators will be more interested in building on top of your platform than on top of any other platform?
Because we do it better.
Yeah. Okay.
No. I think, well, there's a lot of reasons, right? So let's say I'm a game developer. PUBG, I think they cracked like $1 billion yesterday. I mean, last year on mobile, and had incredible success. They're kind of like the precursors to Fortnite. Incredible financial success, and it started off being 30 developers without a lot of capital, and they ended up just buying a lot of assets off of the Unreal marketplace to kick their game off, right? And I think this is going to be kind of the model moving forward. You're going to have small development teams that, instead of spending, years in art development and spending millions of dollars, they can just have access right away to all of this content, and they can plug into an ecosystem with a marketplace. They can have plug into a system with a rev share model that's already, set in, tap into marketing, tap into a setup community. They don't even need to like figure out anything when it comes to tokens. And then they have access to the best quality avatars and art. So it just, like, the risk of making a game, you've just de-risked, 50% of making the game right off the bat for a developer. And then you have people that, for example, want to make, interactive music videos or other kinds of experiences, that have no idea about like creating avatars or, Web3 or who knows. So it's just really easy for them. We're basically bringing down the friction level for people creating content, or businesses, IPs, brands, musical artists.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That's all for me.
For sure. But I wasn't joking when I said we do it better. No, because at the end of the day, I think,
I love
for
you,
real,
sir.
like, I think I don't think that's a minor thing, right? So there's like a couple TV shows with avatars, with like virtual characters, and I think when you look at them, you could just put one against the other, and you're like, oh, there's Collider Craftworks over here, and then we have this other option over here. You just go one to one, and you're like, what represents our brand the best, and who's set up to really be successful in the future, who's building technology, and leveraging the best technology is going to be relevant 5 years from now, and it's very easy to make a decision. So
I understand that. Thank you
All
very
right.
much. I love the enthusiasm.
All right. Yeah, you get me revved up when you start tapping into that competitive side.
That's what I love. That's when you see the real people coming up. Thank
All
you,
right.
guys.
No, thank you, man.
Awesome. So next question from stage chat is, do you not think the mint price is very high at half an ETH, given the way the market is and how trading volume is down?
For
I
sure.
know from people I talk to with liquids is quite precious at the moment, so people play it safe in this market. And if not, can you tell me what justifies the mint price?
For sure. All right. From the very beginning, I think our community was asking like, hey, what's the price? What's the price? And we were like, guys, we're not giving out a price right now. And the main reason is because of the volatility in the market. And at that time, at the beginning of the year, things were pretty stable. And, growing up in Argentina, we see like a 40, 50% inflation every year and very volatile market. So from a young age, you're used to seeing things go up and down very quickly. And when we came into the space, we were very aware that everything crashing from one day to another was an option, right? A very real option. So, anyways, what we ended up doing is communicating to our community, guys, what our target for the value is $1,500. That's our target. At that time, it was around 0.5 ETH. And we also spent a lot of time really educating and sharing with our community everything that goes into creating an avatar. So the real world value of like a next gen character or an avatar like the ones we're creating is like on the low end, maybe $20,000. Like I don't know if you would find anybody to do it at that price. And then on the higher price, like for most next gen games, you're talking about something like $50,000, $80,000. And we spent a lot of time communicating this to our community and the time it actually takes. So like just to make a pair of sneakers would cost something like 3 to 4 weeks just to make a pair of sneakers, right? So that's the real difference, I think, when you're talking about like real world costs and real world value when it comes to the digital asset in relationship maybe to a JPEG, right? So we spent a lot of time communicating this, and so then when we had the situation with the market, instead of changing the price, we stayed at 0.5. I think our community was super happy and really like very enthusiastic about us doing that. And I think everybody kind of like outside of our community who hasn't had access to this information were like, what are you guys fucking crazy? 0.5? You tripping, bro? But yeah, that's basically it, right? The price point, basically the idea is for it to reflect the real world cost and value while at the same time making it accessible. So yeah, for some people it might feel high. Like the production cost is incredibly high for these kind of endeavors, and if people really believe in like the long term of what we're doing, and scaling the business and scaling the company, we're really going to need a lot of resources. And so I think the people that really understand what we're doing, I think are pretty happy with the price, and I guess the market will decide. Yeah.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
how
I don't know.
soon
I don't know
after
if
the mint
that
will the
answered
game?
or not, but
Yeah, I think that was a good answer. Thank you,
okay.
Daniel. And yeah, I'm glad to see it was at 0.5 instead of what the equivalent of $1,500 would be.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, for us, it's like we have like yearly budgets and quarterly budgets, and we have like our plan for the next 2 years, and that's why we have these aren't just prices we're just pulling out of the air, right? We're like, okay, what would it take for us to be able to reinvest into the business to cover some of the costs that we've already had? We've already invested somewhere like $2.5 million into the tools and the project. So yeah, we're just a very different kind of animal. And I think it's kind of hard for people that are seeing us as an NFT project when they put us up one to one with other NFT projects. I think it's hard to kind of gauge, you know, some aspects of what we're doing, or like, why the fuck do you guys take so long to like just give me my fucking avatar, man? So it's a it's but it's good. We enjoy doing it. We enjoy like sharing what we're doing, and anyhow.
Absolutely. Like you said, the market will decide. Um, This next question is, how soon after mint will the game be ready to play?
So you'll be able to play the game before the reveal. So basically, I think we're targeting somewhere like 3 to 3 weeks around. I think it's around 3 weeks after the mint. You'll be able to build a character in the visual wallet and then jump into the game. So like basically, there's like huge technological hurdles for this to happen. Maybe people are like, oh, okay, cool, boom. But this is all stuff that will be decentralized. So we're like pooling stuff. We're basically pooling your avatar, constructing it in this visual wallet, which is the idea is for all of this to be decentralized. So it's going to have to be on chain. What the demo you guys are going to be having isn't going to be on chain, but that's how it's being built. And then you're going to be able to jump into the game. That's going to happen around like 3 weeks after the mint. And this is not the full version of the visual wallet or the full version of the game. This is what we're calling it a pre-alpha demo. So basically, you're not going to have all of the functionalities. You're not going to have all of the features. You're not going to have the full experience, but it's good enough for you guys to get a sense of what this feels like for the consumer. And that will give you, I think, a pretty good idea of what our potential is as a business and as a team, and also if it's just fun, right? So 3 weeks if you hold a CYPHER.
Awesome. Thank you. Next question's from Commence. I see the team is working with Epic Games and Unreal Engine. Any idea if this is on Unreal Engine 5?
Yeah, we just ported the Mosh Pit to the Unreal Engine 5. It took us a little while. And we're also able to integrate some of the source code that Unreal just released from Fortnite, which is really good. You're talking about years of development that they released to the public. So that was super cool. And yeah, I'm so glad we made a decision on building on the Unreal Engine and kind of putting our eggs in that basket. I believe they're going to dominate over the next 10 years. I think they have the best chance of any business or any company out there, any technology company out there right now when it comes to a metaverse kind of vision. I think they're going to lead the way. We're tying we're tying ourselves onto that rocket ship.
And are you guys looking to launch additional NFT collections next to the avatars?
Excuse me, how was that next to the avatars?
Maybe after the avatars is
Oh,
what he
perfect.
means.
Yeah, so the way the way I think would be good to like envision what we're doing is we're gonna have kind of two offerings. One is for collectors, which are these collections, and then the other one is more of a consumer product for the general public, right? Where you're talking about having hundreds of thousands, millions of users one day, hopefully. So per year, we're probably going to be releasing for now somewhere around like 2 collections a year. Originally, we were like, oh, let's do like in fashion where you have every quarter you have a collection. Right now, I think that'd be like too aggressive. So we're probably going to be doing 2 collections a year. The collection that's coming up is a horror themed collection, which I think is amazing. I think people are going to lose their minds when they see it. It's very different than what we're doing right now. And these are going to be the collector items. And then the visual wallet will be open to the public eventually. And I'll be able to jump in, buy an avatar, buy some clothes, buy some jackets. And the values you're going to see there are probably much more closely related to what you would see in the real world, right? If I wanted to buy a pair of jeans or a pair of sneakers or whatever. And this would be more of a consumer product. So you would have like hundreds of thousands of users that jump in, buy some stuff and then jump in and see participate in some sort of like virtual concert or whatever they're going to be doing. And I think as you add more people to the network, the value of these collector items are going to go up, right? So you're doing 2 things. You're opening up the network to more like the normies and just everyday people who don't want to put down maybe, whatever is half an ETH for an avatar, and they just want to jump around and have some fun. And then you're also really creating a product that's very attractive to the hardcore fan base or kind of serious collectors.
Nice. And does does Argentina affect any copyrights?
I'm not sure what you mean if it affects the copyrights, but this is all set up. We have a US C corp. So this is all like the commercial license agreement is set up under US IP laws. And yeah, we're really proud of the contract, and this is going to basically hold up all over the world. So for anybody who's not, if Jonathan, you wanna set this up real quick? That is really important. Is the IP rights? Some people were like had some concerns about the IP. I think it's kind of new for this space. I think some projects are going in the direction of giving full IP ownership to the owners. Some aren't. Some are capping. There's basically like what you can do as a commercial license, and I think this is going to be really interesting in the Web3 space how these things end up getting defined. From our perspective, the IP is the most valuable thing a company owns, and I would never invest in a company who didn't own their own IP. Because this is, the most valuable thing a company can own these days. But you can allow basically the holders to do anything they want under a commercial license agreement. So the way we have it set up is that you have you own your avatars. It's yours the same way if you buy an iPhone, you have the iPhone, you own the iPhone, but you don't own the intellectual property behind the iPhone, right? The difference with this is that you do own the rights to commercialize your asset and your avatar without any sort of cap. So it goes over 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 10 million. There is no royalty that gets kicked in. And then our company owns the IP to the collection, right? And this allows us, for example, if we want to make a mini series or whatever it is that we want to do, we have full all the ability to do it, right? And at the end of the day, I think it will always end up bringing more value to the collection. Whereas I think some projects who don't own the IP, they're going to be really hampered in the future. But time will tell. And I think it's just kind of interesting where like Web 2 and Web 3 meet and how we kind of figure these things out. So what we're trying to do is use the best practices that are tried and true, and also adapt and kind of embrace all of the new kind of the way ownership is being redefined, right? And kind of find that sweet spot. That's what we're trying to do.
Awesome. Can't wait to see what people do with some of their avatars and how they go about licensing out their IPs possibly.
Yeah.
This next question is did the Collider team do the art and animation for Mortal Kombat?
We didn't do the animation. We did probably close to like 80% of the characters, I would say. We did thousands thousands of pieces of gear, so that would be like weapons, helmets, masks, and then we, as far as the skins, the character skins, we probably close to like 80% of them were done by our team here. And then the animations are being done by another studio. Actually, several studios that do all the animations. These kind of big productions are actually done by dozens of studios and hundreds of people outside of the development studio. Sometimes there are thousands of people in total that will make a game, and you'll have studios that sometimes specifically just specialize in hair. That's all they do. And then maybe another studio is like they specifically do facial animation. And then you'll have another one that does VFX, and you'll have like these studios that specialize in just one very specific core competency. And in our case, we specialize in the creation of the characters.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. It looks like we should probably wrap up soon, even though we have a few other questions. Maybe we can leave it at one more question if anyone wants to come up on stage and ask.
Here, Juanito's saying 2 more. He's feeling generous. Look at that.
2 more?
2 more questions. 2 more.
So again, I'll prioritize to anyone that wants to come up on stage and ask the question. If not, I'll just pick 2 from the stage chat. Okay, so I'll just pick one. Asking about the marketplace. Will there be a marketplace for drops that holders will receive? For example, can holders that get dropped a helmet sell it at a as a separate item that they could even then trade for another helmet?
That is exactly the idea. At the beginning, you'll probably be doing it on OpenSea, or the marketplace that probably will have something set up with Byte as well. That's still to be determined, but that is a chance. But for sure on OpenSea, you're going to be getting airdropped this individual item. So all the items will be airdropped, will be compatible with every avatar. So you're talking about helmets, masks, any sort of headwear, gear, and weapons. And these were going to be individual items. So you'll be able to buy and sell and trade even without the visual wallet being around. Once we have the visual wallet, when you log in with your user, with your wallet, you'll be able to see all the items you own, and you'll actually be able to then play around and put them off, take them off, edit your avatar and whatever. That's why the visual wallet is so important, because you're finally going to be able to interact with all of this stuff on your character. So yes, you will be able to sell your airdrops and trade and collect.
That's awesome. So again, with the airdropped items, are these more for cosmetic purposes, or are you guys looking to incorporate these within the stats or any type of stats?
Yeah, the stats are a fun thing. The problem is you run into kind of like this pay to win model that we want to stay very far away from. So yeah, for right now, they're all cosmetic, but there is immense opportunity from a development standpoint, since you have all the metadata to allow whatever certain players to be able to do certain things if they own certain items. So for example, you have access to certain parts of the game or whatever it is, or other developers can build games with taking this metadata into account, and what certain avatars are allowed to do if they have certain powers. But the game that we're developing right now, to keep it simple at the very beginning, it's fully and solely cosmetic. You know what they say, advanced people never stop doing the basics. Ugh.
Absolutely. So yeah, thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Juanito. Really appreciate your time in coming to our community, talking to us, and answering our questions.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for being so cool from day one, opening the doors to this community and just hanging. You guys were super cool. A lot of you joined the server, and it's great to have you guys. And yeah, I have one last little sneak peek for you guys. I don't know if maybe some of you guys already saw this. Let me see. Those proud ape holders. Let me see. This is what our mint site's going to be looking like. I just got a little sneak peek of this yesterday. So when you guys mint, you'll be able to, yeah, go ahead, yeah. So when you guys mint, you'll be able to immediately see what faction you minted with a GLTF, which is a 3D file format that is being supported by OpenSea and other applications. So this will be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited for people to be able to see, the beautiful 3D assets on OpenSea and be able to find out exactly what they minted and be able to trade and collect and do all the fun stuff. So that should be pretty exciting stuff.
That looks awesome.
Yep. All right. And with that, we are done. Thank you guys again for being so cool and bringing us on. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hasta la vista. Oh.